Have you ever wondered why you feel wide awake and totally energized after one meal, but then completely wiped out, just literally slumped over your desk after another? Well, welcome to this explainer. Today, we're decoding what I like to call the invisible engine driving your daily vitality, your metabolism and blood sugar regulation. You know, the answer really isn't about your willpower or obsessing over the exact number of calories you ate. It actually comes down to one of the most heavily researched and, honestly, fundamental systems in human biology. Section 1, the body's energy currency, fueling the body. Think of your amazing body as a high-performance hybrid vehicle. To run smoothly, it obviously needs fuel, right? Every time you eat carbohydrates, whether that's a crisp apple, a slice of sourdough bread, or a big bowl of pasta, your digestive system immediately gets to work breaking them down into a simple sugar called glucose. This glucose enters your bloodstream, basically acting as the primary energy currency for nearly every single cell in your body. But here is the catch. Your cells can't just absorb that floating sugar all on their own. To let that glucose inside, your cells need a key. And that key is a vital hormone produced by your pancreas called insulin. Without this hormone, well, the fuel stays locked out in the bloodstream, and your cells just go hungry. Section 2, the glucose and insulin dance, the metabolic loop. So, when you eat, your blood glucose levels naturally rise. In a healthy, finely tuned metabolic loop, your pancreas senses this increase and promptly releases insulin into the bloodstream. You can kind of picture insulin as an unlocked gatekeeper. It binds to specific receptors on your muscle, fat, and liver cells, signaling them to open up and allow that glucose to flow seamlessly from the blood and inside the cell. Once it's in there, it's either burned immediately for energy or safely stored for later use as glycogen. When this beautifully synchronized system works efficiently, your blood sugar stays within a really tight, stable range. And what does that mean for you? It means steady energy, crystal clear mental focus, and consistent physical endurance. You don't feel shaky, you don't feel starved, you just feel completely dialed in. But as we all know, modern life can easily throw this delicate dance completely out of rhythm. Diets heavily loaded with rapidly digesting refined sugars, chronic daily stress, and mostly sedentary routines, all of these modern disruptors can really wreck that healthy metabolic loop. Section 3, when the system overloads, when the dance breaks. So, what exactly happens when you constantly flood your system with high amounts of rapidly digestible sugars and simple carbohydrates? Well, your pancreas has to pump out larger and larger amounts of insulin to clear all that glucose from your blood. Over time, if your cells are just constantly bombarded with these high levels of insulin, they start to tune it out. They become what is known as insulin resistant. Imagine shouting a command in a crowded room. At first, everyone listens, right? But if you scream continuously for an hour, people are going to start blocking their ears. That's essentially exactly what your resistant cell receptors are doing to the insulin. Because those insulin keys no longer work efficiently, the glucose just lingers in the bloodstream much longer than it should. The pancreas senses that lingering sugar, panics a bit, and works even harder to produce more insulin to just force the issue. This creates a severe roller coaster effect. Let's say you eat a high-sugar meal at minute 0. Within just 30 minutes, you experience a sharp, dramatic blood sugar spike. By 60 minutes, that massive flood of insulin triggers a huge overcorrection. And by 90 minutes, you hit a sudden, devastating crash. That sudden crash in blood sugar is the direct biological cause behind your heavy afternoon fatigue. It's the reason for that frustrating brain fog where you just can't concentrate. And ironically, it's what causes those sudden, intense cravings for even more sugar. Your body is basically desperately sounding the alarm, seeking rapid fuel to pull you out of the crash it literally just created. Section 4, restoring your metabolic flexibility. Finding balance. But hey, the genuinely good news here is that your metabolism isn't a fixed cage. You actually have the power to take control by understanding your own biology. Your body has this incredible feature called metabolic flexibility. This is the dynamic ability of your metabolism to adapt smoothly between burning carbohydrates and burning fats for energy. By understanding how your body handles blood sugar, you gain the exact blueprint you need to support and restore this dynamic adaptability. And the solutions are incredibly accessible. We're talking about simple lifestyle adjustments that can profoundly stabilize your internal rhythm. First off, try pairing your carbohydrates with protein, fiber, and healthy fats. This essentially puts the brakes on your digestion, which prevents that massive glucose spike we talked about. Second, just take a brisk walk after a meal. Muscle contractions act like a vacuum, helping your muscles pull in glucose directly for energy without needing nearly as much insulin. And third, you've got to prioritize quality sleep.
which is absolutely foundational for stabilizing all these internal metabolic rhythms.
Ultimately, optimizing this whole system isn't just about a clinical metric or avoiding a diabetes diagnosis down the road. It is about taking active charge of your daily mood, your energy levels, and your long-term well-being right now. So I'll leave you with this final thought. Blood sugar regulation is the invisible engine driving your daily vitality. So how will you tune your engine today? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and definitely keep exploring how your amazing body works.